Hey everybody, it's your Juneteenth girl, PJamma, from PJamma Life. And today we got a full schedule of good stuff to talk about with the Bad Batch, Loki, and Lupin. That neat show on Netflix. So we're going to start off with Bad Batch and with our two fabulous gentlemen with us today. Why don't you introduce yourselves to the people? How about you, David?
It's great to be here. I cannot wait to give you the lowdown, the big scoop on Katie and the Bachelorette. A lot went down this week, so this is going to be a fantastic. That's not what we're talking about. Oh, sorry, not this show. Well, this time on Obscure Sports Quarterly. Oh wait, it's still not the right show. No, I'm kidding everybody. Let's get down with the Bad Batch. It's going to be a good time.
I was almost waiting for a reference to ESPN 8, the Ocho in there.
Yeah, the Ocho, not the Ocho.
Full new cop. Let's see how it plays out.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. Great movie, by the way. You probably hate it though, Pam.
What?
Dodgeball?
No, I love dodgeball.
Okay, I'm just checking because
your taste are questionable, mine or not.
Our humor tastes don't line up because I got great taste. Sometimes you don't have so great taste. Here we are. Oh, I did.
Who are you anyway? Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. Patrick. It's here to keep it real. So here we are. Yep.
Keep it something. Well, why don't we start off with the Bad Batch? Here's a fresh take on it.
Admiral Rampart, the clones of Experimental Unit 99 are highly skilled assets.
I have no interest in a group of rogue clone deserters. Terminate them.
Wake up! What happened? Where's Omega? He was shot in the chest plate. We have to get him on board.
As long as one of these bounty hunters deliver the young clone intact, that is all that should concern us.
Someone's here. This wasn't the scrapper's handiwork.
One much work.
Omega, get behind me.
Oh, finally. Now we're getting to the meat of the meat. So, Pat, why don't you talk about what you thought?
Well, I got to say, it was really nice to see some more of the Filoniverse characters coming back. The bounty hunter. So I was like, it was great.
Uh-oh. Oh, you're frozen, Pat.
He looks so happy frozen in time, too.
He's frozen in
So I lost my connection. Are you still there?
Yeah, but we can hear you, but you're frozen. There you go. Oh, you're frozen again.
He doesn't look quite as happy now.
David, why don't you go ahead and talk until we get Pat back?
Well, I tell you, Pat's absolutely right with the Filoniverse characters, and I think we got to give Pat credit for that terminology. That's awesome. Cad Bane is a wonderful character, a Duros bounty hunter who is one of the best in the business and clearly one of the fastest shots in the galaxy as he took out Hunter there and grabbed Omega. This was another wonderful episode building on what we've been seeing. And now I think it's going to be back to Camino for the Bad Batch. And we'll see what happens there with the Kaminoans. I think we always wonder how to say that because clearly one of them has a soft spot for Omega while the big boss doesn't. So we'll see how that all plays out. What's going to happen with Crosshair? Will he become a part of the unit again? Or will you're ready to get rid of him?
He's a villain. Pat, are you back?
Patty's back.
I am back. Yes. apparently my computer connected to my far away router, not my close router. So I had to fix it. I'm fixed though. We good. We good now. Technical difficulties aside, yes.
Yeah, that's
I
what
was
you get for trying to talk about me. So I got magic woo-woo powers today. So that's on you. Now I will allow you to continue.
Oh, I found it. Yeah.
Oops, my powers are too strong.
I know you did.
Wait a minute. I can't get them back.
But now he
They're a
stopped. He
little
looks so
wonky with the
inquisitive.
weather. But yeah, I thought when I saw the character, the bounty hunter, I was like, oh, good, because he was really good in the episodes I've seen in the Clone Wars. He's not strictly a bad guy. He just kind of comes in and out of it. And so, he's about money. So that in and of itself doesn't mean he's always gonna be with the bad guys. He's just trying to profit off of whatever situation it is, which is not too far from what the Bad Batch are becoming. So we have to see kind of what's going on with them.
That's
Pat, are you back? Are you back?
I believe I am.
Okay. Well, I'll keep talking until you start talking fully. But my favorite beings are back, the Kaminoans, with their plummy, beautiful voices. And but it looks like the female Kaminoan is, I think she was maybe more attached to Omega than what is probably allowed for a created being like that. So which I really just like her. And actually, I think all of the Bad Batch, she really seemed to have an affinity for them. So I'm hoping that if she's delivered, Omega is delivered, that the female Kaminoan, and I think in some sense the male Kaminoan has an attachment to her as well. Maybe not just as, but certainly as a source of money for them and a new product. If I can, I mean, it's kind of to say it like that, but that's what they consider the clones as a product. But she represents the new phase of their treatment or their revenue stream, as it were. So I'm looking forward to seeing if she's completely, the female Kaminoan is completely mercenary, or if, because they kind of let her slide away from them in the first place. So we'll see. I hope so. I hope so. Looks like my powers are just too strong today. So,
I know. I better stay on your good side, or it's going to be a solo show.
I know. It's Juneteenth, and you girls got all the powers of the Black universe. It's riding.
There you go. Well, hopefully Pat will be able to join us.
We'll wait for Pat to come back. And then we'll get his take on the Bad Batch. But let's go and check out, and we definitely want to check out Loki. So let's look at a clip from Loki.
We haven't been able to find him, so let's bring in an expert.
That's me.
Mihi nomen est Loki. Praefectus consilii ad tempus mutandem. Atque ad ferro acerbum nuntium ad vos omnes. Right on cue! Nothing matters! Nothing has any consequence! Dance while you still can! How we do?
It didn't go exactly the way I wanted it to today. I'm not taking you for a stroll along the promenade, much less an apocalypse.
Mobius, come on. What could possibly go wrong?
Oh man, so much going on in this episode, and possibly the villain of the episode. We don't know, but what did you think, David?
You know, I find
Oh, there he is.
Hey, Pat.
Sorry, I restarted my computer. It was being a pain in the ass, for lack of a better word. You guys didn't get to see all. You guys didn't get to see all the cussing that happened. So
please, we try to keep it PG.
It was rated R. It might even have been NC-17. I don't know.
Oh no.
I love technology. It's the best. I was just saying before, and I won't talk much about it. I'm sure you guys already covered half of this stuff, but it was really nice to see the Filoni-verse come back in again with the bounty hunters from I think there was Clone Wars. They might have been Rebels too, but yeah, it was great to see them coming back in, and so I loved it. Great episode as always, and good to see them heading back to Camino. It looked like,
Yes.
A lot of interesting stuff going to happen. So looking forward to it. It's great show as always.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we just showed the an example of Loki. And so why don't you since you are the professor of all things Marvel, why don't you give us your take on it?
Well, I was watching it and I saw, you're watching through all the twists and turns, and the little funny things you got going on with Owen Wilson. That's his shtick, and then they brought out the variant that the Loki variant was hunting, and it comes out, and I'm like, that's the Enchantress. Is my first thing I said out of my lips when I saw that woman, and everybody.
Oh no!
Loki is gender fluid.
Yeah.
So technically it could be Loki, but I mean the look of the actress they chose, and it is definitely for me. That's the Enchantress. And it was from the old Thor books and stuff, and the look of her was just right in there. And I'm like, nice, and the thing is, I got to keep telling myself this is a 6-episode series.
Yeah,
they are a third of the way through at this point.
Yeah,
they got to hit the big meat in the next 2 episodes, and then they're going to be tidying up in the last 2 episodes. So I mean, this has been the opening, the first act of it. We got 2 more acts to go. So wow, this is really going neat places, and I don't know. The books that I've read, I never got much into the TVA, and I know that's out there, but it just never really intersected the stuff that I read a lot of. So, but the Thor verse, I mean, yeah, totally. And like I said, that was the Enchantress, is what I thought. First look.
So, who is the Enchantress? Dwayne DeMarcos. Hey, Dwayne. He asked, "Who is the Enchantress?" Because
the Enchantress
isn't that across both DC and Marvel?
No, there may be an Enchantress. Well, no, DC's dead to me. Dead comics.
Oh, okay.
I just never got it. I just never got into DC. Okay, but the Enchantress in the Marvel version was a big villain of Thor. She was always messing with Thor back in, I want to say, in the 70s series of books and stuff. She was an ally of Scourge, the Executioner, that was played by Carl Urban in the movies. Yeah. He was like her puppet because he was in love with her and he did a lot of crap for her. And he was her muscle. She was a sorceress. That was her big thing. She was a magic user. Was doing a lot of the Loki type of stuff you're seeing Loki do throughout the series. So yeah, I could see how it would be a real easy fit for the Enchantress to maybe spoof the TVA's detection systems and make them think, wow, that's Loki. But it's not Loki. I think it's the Enchantress. I think what everybody's going to come around to seeing is that this big villain of Thor is going to come back as the Enchantress, is coming back in. It's not going to be Loki. Loki's still going to try to rule the universe because, well, Loki going to Loki, So, but it was great. And that, the way they brought her in, and I've seen some things I've read online that in the Young Avengers, which is something I didn't get much into, and that would have happened in kind of the area where I didn't have money and didn't buy a lot of comic books. There was the daughter of the Enchantress was someone called Sylvie, and apparently she was even drawn even closer to this particular actress that they brought in with that outfit and the costuming. So not sure if that's going to be a Sylvie, but it's definitely, like I said, definitely an Enchantress or her daughter, one or the other.
Well, here's an Easter egg. So if you look at the credits in the Catalan, I think the Spanish one, the character's name is Sylvie. So it probably is the Enchantress or Sylvie. What's her name? I forget her name, but that is so I think they kind of messed up on that one. So I think it is the Enchantress.
Interesting. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Because you saw they talked about all the variant Lokis and showed these different versions of Loki that they've been battling at times.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really fascinating little backstory there.
Yeah.
Especially for the uninitiated. I didn't necessarily, I didn't have a frame of reference for some of those images of him in these looking different, had the horns coming out. But I thought that was a very interesting perspective that they've been doing this against Loki for a while. Some version of Loki or another has been out there being a pain to the Tennessee Valley Authority. So that was neat to see.
Yeah, and I think that there was if you look closely at when the time branch the timeline starts to branch. This is just go look at the Easter eggs. They're fascinating. People dive so deep in these things that they list all the places where time has been disrupted, and Vormir is one. I thought that was really interesting. I think Titan is one, and some other places. So I think with it also branching out, then this also kind of explains the new Strange movie, which is the Multiverse of Madness. So now the sacred timeline is broken, creating a multiverse. So I think that's a real interesting take on it. Still dealing with
I've got to ask you about time travel. What do you think about this? Are you're that based in this at all? Because I was gonna wonder. Because if you hate time travel, this has got to be a little like paint drying for you.
Or like nail pulling. So but I can put that aside for a little bit. But because I thought it was interesting too that there was another Easter egg about the Agent B-15, or they think she might be Justice Peace. There was another kind of reference to her that is a character in the Thor and Loki books in the TVA. Her character, so maybe we'll get to see her evolve into Justice Peace, which was a really compelling character, I guess, in the series. So, which would be, I want to see all the Wumi Lusaka that I can possibly see. So, I love her. She's great. But I really thought it was interesting that how the Loki Sylvie Enchantress spirit was going from person to person. I thought that was a really interesting way, which would make sense. That they possess somebody, and that's why I think you're right, Pat, that it's the Enchantress, because a sorceress possesses people. And
but Loki also did that back in the first Avengers movies when he had the not the Tesseract. Well, he did have the Tesseract too, but it was the Mind Stone that was in his scepter, and it was allowing him to pick up people. And now theoretically Loki could be doing that if we were outside of the TVA, where Infinity Stones aren't just paperweights now. You could if the variant Loki, the Enchantress, who we're all suspecting, if that was a Loki with the Mind Stone, it could be just jumping around possessing people because it's the Mind Stone.
Yeah, I think that I'm hopeful that that the Loki will be saved. It won't be another, dead Loki on the timeline. But I think I still love Owen Wilson's character, who just always kind of pokes hole in Loki's whatever he's trying to accomplish. He's always poking holes. And him calling him a scared little boy shivering in the cold. I was like, ooh, that's kind of cold, knowing he's a frost giant masquerading as an Asgardian. I was like, ooh, that's some good shade right there.
I love that scene with Pompeii, though. I love the concept. It's like, when you have this offshoot, anything you do there is fair game because that place is going to be destroyed. So he's telling everybody everything, all the kind of stuff that would destroy the timeline anywhere else. But since Pompeii is going to be dust here in a moment, it's okay. I thought that was a really ingenious aspect to the story.
Super clever. That was super clever. And Pam, you got to appreciate. I know it's time travel, but that is such a neat idea. The fact that this cataclysm event casts a shadow that you can hide behind. And I thought that was amazing.
But
that really was
true? Because if you interfere with it, maybe it stops the apocalyptic.
That's a different story.
That's what they weren't doing, though. That's the thing that the Loki wasn't doing. It wasn't going to do anything to stop the cataclysm, the apocalypse level event for that particular thing. It was just staying there and interacting with people. No one's going to have a memory of the Loki or whatever, or Loki running around, jumping on a cart, letting the goats free, which I thought was another little nifty thing because goats are a thing of Thor's. He had two goats that pulled his chariot, and he could kill them every night, and they'd regenerate themselves from the bones. And him letting all the goats out was I thought another little, tongue-in-cheek wink to people that know Norse mythology. And I was like, that's hilarious. So
and the same, I read that the parable he talks about when the wolf ears. What is it? The wolf's teeth are near. The ears are open or something. And I guess Loki in the Norse mythology also was the model of Fenrir, the great wolf in Ragnarok. Which also there was something about him talking about you could be on the bridge and throw somebody off and it wouldn't. So it was another kind of reference to Ragnarok, what happened there. Yeah. So I think there's some sprinkling of this too. So maybe he will try and go back and stop the destruction of Asgard and change, history or something. So it's time travel. So we'll see. Next week he jumped into the time window that female Loki, Sylvie, Enchantress created. So I wonder if that's the last of the TVA, and then he'll just go through time battling the Enchantress. I don't know, but they gotta wrap it up in 4 more episodes. So
Owen Wilson is too expensive to just have for 2 episodes. They're gonna have him through the rest of it. Don't worry. TVA is going to be through there. Don't worry. You can rest assured of that. And I'm just, you're right. I'm wondering what they're going to do. I mean, because the 2 of them are off, are they going to align? They're going to, because the male version of Loki, the Tom Hiddleston version, is still wanting to meet the three Time Lords or whatever you want to call them. So that's his end game. He wants to be that dude. So
But so didn't getting to your reference to Doctor Who, didn't one of the Time Lords. Wasn't that Peter Capaldi? Wasn't he from, or wasn't there something with him in Pompeii? In the
Yes. Well, okay. Well, actually, yes, there was, because Peter Capaldi's first appearance in Doctor Who was during I want to say it was the David Tennant run of the series, and he was a citizen of Pompeii, and they appeared, the Doctor and his companion, they were doing some adventure things, and then when he regenerated, he basically says, I take a face from that I've met in the past, or in my past, to be myself, and that's why Capaldi was the ninth Doctor, who is actually one of the better Doctors, I really think.
See, so there's all kind of time travel,
very meta
stuff throughout
wibbly
the
wobbly,
series.
timey-wimey stuff, exactly.
Yeah, that was kind of. I was like, when I read something about that, I was like, oh, that's kind of clever. That's cute.
Well, there's a God, it was a Tennant line. He did a thing when he was leaving clues for himself, and he had to try to explain to a mortal human person. He's like, most people think of time as a straight line between two things, but really it's more like a wibbly wobbly, timey wimey ball, And I was like, yeah, and from the Doctor Who verse, that makes absolute sense, and it seems to make sense apparently in the Marvel verse now too.
To its great shame. So why don't we move on to Lupin, the French story about a clever thief. In the books and in this one, a master thief, man of mystery, in modern day France, trying to avenge his father from a bad rich guy. So let's take a look at a clip from Lupin on Netflix.
Arsène Lupin, gentleman burglar. We are about to tell you the story of a thief, not just any thief. First thing you need to know about Arsène Lupin is that no one knows who he really is.
Arsène Lupin is a man of many talents. He's a master of disguise. No obstacle can get in the way of his plans. But his greatest talent, without a doubt, is to always be one step ahead. You should never trust Arsène Lupin. After all, his name might not even be Lupin.
Okay, so we got the series from Netflix, which was 10 episodes split into two different segments, and I guess a third segment is coming up, I think probably next year, maybe, or it definitely later on this year. So David, why don't you talk about what you thought about Lupin?
I thought it was, and I can see your face there. That's the only French I know.
This is
That is French. You did not know French? That is French. You just say that. You put that in front of everything. You're French.
Oh no!
French fries, French toast,
terrible
chocolate mousse. Swear that's how the French lady down the street talks. I thought this was fun. It's kind of the Robin Hood kind of story. I thought the leading, if you can get past the whole, dubbed in some, different language thing, I thought it was really well done. Strong leading man, interesting characters, good story. there is a part of me, because I've always loved the con man story. It's one of my favorite genres. But I got to tell you, it soured me a little. I saw him take the jewels from the little old lady. And at the point that he had convinced her to give that, it's like, I know you're the protagonist. I know you're the lead. I'm not rooting for you. I'm going to watch. I'm enjoying the show, but it lost a lot for me when he stole from the little old lady. So, but this was a fun show.
Yeah. Pat, what did you think?
I only got about 3 episodes in, so I got something to look forward to, him stealing from the little old lady still. But I loved it. Oh my God. And the French is not a barrier. I mean, I tried watching the subtitles. It was too weird. So I just kicked it back, or with the dubbed. So I just kicked it back over to the French with the subtitles. I mean, you can read subtitles. We're all literate here, hopefully. So I just focused through that, but man, it was beautiful. I mean, the style of that, it had an Ocean's 11 feel to it.
Yes.
To me, it was Ocean's 11 meets The Count of Monte Cristo is what I felt when I was watching it. The whole, the whole, you got this revenge thing. This guy's playing the long game. He's figuring out how this, and it's a good thing he didn't learn to play chess, because he'd be 20 moves out on everybody. He's that kind of a planner, and the acting superb. The way that the thing the flow of the series was very engaging. It kept you in the style. The leading actor, dude's got magnetism, man.
Yeah.
He was just dripping magnetism. He was almost Idris Elba level magnetism. I'm just going to say he reminded me of a younger Idris Elba, back in some of the early Luthers and stuff like that. I was digging it, man. I loved it. I wished I'd had more time to watch the whole damn thing, but super nice, super smooth, man. I'm just saying.
Well, and let's do a shout out to Taryn Nelson. Hey, she is she comes in and out, so we're glad she's joining us today to talk about Lupin, and I hope she drops some thoughts about what she thinks about it. And okay, but here's my issue. So I did enjoy
There's
it.
no time travel, so it can't be that.
What is the issue?
Oh,
there's no time travel. What's wrong with you?
I'm gonna get you a cough drop for that.
All right.
Now, and Taryn says that even the young man plays a Lupin is smooth, and he looks so much like him too. So they really caught, a young character and older character. But here's my problem with the older character. That dude is about 6'4", 6'6", tall, fine as a cold drink of chocolate milk. How he gonna disappear in a crowd, or how is in France?
Well,
now that part I did not buy.
I do buy it. I did buy that.
I did it because he is too tall, too noticeable to slip in and out the way he did, especially in the opera house. You haven't gotten to that yet, but I was like, come on now, the dude, come on. So, I mean, I put that aside. But one thing I didn't care for was, okay, you're in Paris. I ain't seen one black woman in all of the series in Paris. And I'm like, come on now. I've been to Paris. I've been to France. And there are plenty of us there. And so it was just that was just weird to me. I was like, okay, this doesn't make any sense. So, but the story itself is the classic kind of revenge story too. And I think that they did a good job with Pat. As you look at over 10 episodes, it's not as simple, what happens. You find out later what really happened to the father. And it's very interesting. And I thought that, yeah, David, to what you said, that his character is not all it's not all black and white. He's not all good, and his intentions aren't always so good, because he does something in the second part of the series to one of the main characters. I was like, ooh, that's cold blooded. What he did. I don't want to spoil it for Pat, but you know what I'm talking about, David?
I do.
And I just thought, but I didn't feel too bad for the person, because I was like, you benefited from it, so I don't care. But the I think that the I guess it's his girlfriend, wife, baby mama. I mean, she got a cold bullet cut. I mean, she didn't. it's not a happy story for their little family, and
with a great cliffhanger at the end too. So.
Yeah. So we'll see, you know, how they're going to do the third section, and maybe this will, you know, keep going, because this was a really interesting, different kind of, but it was very French too. It was a very European take on a story, you know, and so, you know, American stories are black and white. You know, I did this for this reason and blah, blah, blah. But everywhere else, you know, it really is more shades of gray. And so it's more sophisticated to me than maybe some of how this would be done in the U.S. would be very black and white. And I think there are levels to this that are really interesting and more realistic too. I mean, he's a thief. I mean, so, you know, he's not like a good guy all the time. He likes to steal from people, so that's not cool.
Yeah, the romance of the thieves and that kind of stuff, the Robin Hoods. You know,
that's what I was going to say. He's stealing from the super rich, the people who can afford to lose a $20 million necklace because they got another $80 million. Jeff Bezos don't. You know, someone steals Jeff Bezos' Ferrari, he goes and buys another one next day. It don't matter to him, you know. And I was just, well, you know, and I want to circle back to something you talked about, how he would stand out so bad. In the very, like, it's either the first or second episode, he talks about it, that people don't notice people below them, and that's true. I mean, you walk a street like downtown Lawrence, Kansas, where I live, there are homeless people that'll be begging on the sides of the street, and people walk by them. Don't ever see them. They blend. They are part of the scenery. And people that are super rich don't look at the people that are serving them food. They don't look at the people that are cleaning their houses. They are below them. They are just their furniture. And that's how this guy blends. Even if it's a big piece of furniture, you know.
A giant piece of furniture.
Yeah.
One thing that this was also illuminating was a racial divide too. Was that that an issue about this is that the bad guy went after a black man because he could frame him and nobody would question it.
It was an immigrant too, more an immigrant even.
Yeah, and an immigrant, especially in France, that's a huge deal about immigrants. Yeah. So, but then that also plays into me that okay, you have this large, very handsome black man, then seamlessly integrating this super wealthy society. And so that kind of, I was like, I got it when he was doing, you know, kind of things that they would expect somebody to do, but he would be noticeable in those rich circles. So that's how I was kind of like, but, you know, I'll take your point, but I just, that one kind of struck me kind of like, this dude is too noticeable. Now, the bad guy villain, the assassin dude, he looked regular enough to where I would be like, oh, okay, I can see how he could seamlessly transition through a lot. But Omar's side is, you know, very magnetic and, you know,
Sam's over here
come on now. Woo, that was a big old glass of rich hot chocolate. But it was good, I can suspend some of my, like eagle eye on stuff. But it was, and I want to read the original stories about it. And I think it would be interesting because I do think they have these Lupin days that, it would be interesting to go over to France and participate in, the festival or something like that they might have for that. That would be fun. It's kind of like going to, what is it? The Legends of the Galaxy Star Wars exhibit or something. So it would be fun to do something like that. So, but it definitely is worth the look on Netflix. I didn't mind, Pat, like you. I think there are people who don't like things that are subtitled or foreign films, international films. You are missing out because
that was amazing. I'm not just the way it looked.
If you saw like Parasite and
Crouching Tiger.
Well, yeah, that's a great one.
There are some great things happening in the international market and stories we don't typically get here in the US, or sometimes if they bring them to the US, there's some bullshit ending that totally messes up the original version. So watch it, just you have to pay attention. You can't be doing two things at once.
Right.
You gotta read. You gotta be reading it.
Yeah. To me, the dubbed actors did a fantastic job. I was very pleased with the dubbed version. So definitely check it out.
It bugs me too much when the lips don't match the words. It really bugs me. I mean, it's like something's not saying.
One of the better ones to me. There was a little bit of a delay, but not so that I didn't understand what was going on. And I put the subtitles on. And it was fine. And, you could more than follow the story. So definitely check out Lupin. You can also check out Lupin on Hoopla and listen to the original version of it. Hey, there's Tim Windsor. Hey, there he is. I hope he got a chance to see the show, Lupin and the Bad Batch and some of our and Loki. And this week is today we have a new national holiday, Juneteenth, and today is Juneteenth. And so that's very exciting. I was surprised that it was actually made into a holiday that fast, and it happened very fast.
To the chagrin of federal timekeepers everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, when the government wants something done, it gets done. So, happy Juneteenth to everybody out there. It's an American holiday. We celebrate something really important, the last of the states that the slaves were emancipated, and in Texas. So it really is an important holiday for Americans, not just for African Americans. It's an important holiday for Americans that ended the dark saga of slavery in our nation. So
amen.
Go out, have a good time, see what it's about. I have some strawberry lemonade Kool-Aid. Right? And next week we will discuss we won't be discussing Rick and Morty and somebody.
Although I'm sure that I'm just waiting to see all the comments light up going, oh my God, that'd be a great idea. and you're gonna have to bow to the will of the people.
If you want
wanna
to just
watch Rick
take
and
a
Morty.
minute and talk about Rick and Morty, you can have a minute to talk about it when the season premieres. But
All right, everybody, tell
no.
Pam what you think about Rick and Morty in the comments. We'll see what happens there.
Boo. Okay, here's a challenge. If I get 25 new subscribers, I will watch the whole Rick and Morty series and watch the new season to celebrate the new subscribers. So there's the challenge. I need 25 subscribers to make it happen. And America or internationally, if you guys want me to watch it, I don't know, because you know I'm coming for it, but I'll watch it. If I get 25 subscribers.
It'll hold its own. Don't worry, you come for it. That's fine. It's great.
All right.
Okay, but next week we have the Bad Batch, Loki, and let's say
Rick and Morty?
no. You know, if I see I'll do this. If I see 25 subscribers by Tuesday, I will watch. I'll put down Rick and Morty. Okay.
Okay. Well, what was the alternate in case 25 new people don't show up?
Okay. So we have on tap either Bliss or Ragnarok on Netflix. How about we stick with the let's try Bliss. Ragnarok is a series, and so why don't we do that the next week to give everybody a chance to watch the episodes. And then, or we can do Army of the Dead. I think that's out.
Was that the Tig Notaro and Dave Bautista?
Yes.
Okay,
that was decent.
Let's watch something fun. We'll try Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead.
So big Bad Batch, Loki, and Army of the Dead. Is it a zombie or?
I think it's zombies. Zombies in
It's
Vegas.
Zombies in Vegas.
Oh,
Zombies in
boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Viva Las Vegas. Whole new meaning for that phrase if it's zombies.
Yeah, okay. Yuck. Maybe it'll be an Elvis zombie.
Or several, maybe even.
Might be old and young. All right, so we will see you all next week. Enjoy Juneteenth and take care. Remember to wear your mask. We're not quite at 50% everywhere. And so keep wearing your mask, keep social distancing, but keep spreading the love and the joy. And we'll see you next time on PJamma Live. Bye.
See you guys.